All right, what's up,
Alright.
guys? It's the Paper Squad. We
Yeah.
out here back with our first ever review
hmm
of the Saba album "Care for Me."
Yeah.
10 tracks, 40 minutes, 41 minutes, and 41 seconds. Wow,
Yeah.
perfect. 41, 41. Um,
We
and
got
yeah,
right now we got me, I'm Willie. We got Mason. Say what's up, Mason.
What's up?
And then we got Flair.
otherwise known as Visions.
And we're about to just go through the album and tell you guys how we feel about it. So you guys want to go like track by track real quick?
Yeah,
All right.
Alright.
First
Let me bring
track,
up the album.
Busy and Siren.
Sirens was better.
Yeah.
Busy.
But I feel like they work together as a track.
They do.
Yeah. But Busy
Absolutely.
was dropped as a single, wasn't it?
Because they both have like this similar kind of sound.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? I like the track because it's like you can tell like throughout the whole album, like you can tell that he's relating this busyness to him, you know what I'm saying? To how guilty he is about everything that happened later on. You know what I mean?
Right. And I like this track too because this track, even though it's the first track of the album, it ties in very well to all the other tracks
I
later on in
agree.
the album. Like even in the hook
Yeah,
of Busy, I'm having a busy day. I seen that
yeah,
the skies were gray. That ties in very well into what you call it, into what he talks
yeah,
about on the song Gray,
yeah,
which is the seventh track, which
yeah,
is the eighth track on the album. There's a line which call it. There's a line what call it where he's just like Jesus got killed for our sins,
yeah,
Walter got killed for our coat. That ties into him on track 9 where he goes in depth about his
yeah,
relationship with his cousin in track 9 and stuff like that. And it's just like you could really tell that it wasn't like like since each track connects so well with each other, you can really tell that this
yeah.
album was made as a whole
It's
and it's
cohesive.
not
It's
just a
not a
collection of
playlist.
songs. Right.
Yeah, this is an album. Yeah. And
Mhm.
like I like how consistent the sound is. Not only on the track, like this, you could clearly see that there's a sound, the spaciness. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right.
Eh, yeah,
Yeah, Saba definitely becomes his own during this track, and then like he holds his own throughout the whole album. And he makes himself like sound new and unique and different, but at the same time still sound like
hmm
himself. Like he doesn't sound like any other artist out,
hmm
and still makes it sound engaging throughout the whole
yeah.
project. But we'll get to that.
Okay. Yes. Yes. Mason, how you feel about the first track?
I'm not really gonna go into detail, but it was just fire.
It was fire. What do
Yeah.
you like about it?
I don't know. It's been a minute since I listened to it, but I know I just liked it, bro. Yeah, I
Okay.
can play it and
Mm.
sing it.
Does
Um,
it? Does it bumps in the whip?
Kinda.
do busy? No, but the next track, Broken Girls, that bumps in the
Uh,
way.
Yeah,
yeah,
Broken Girls bumps in the whip.
Yeah.
yeah.
But
Rap.
I just want to say, the hooks on Siren was A1, and then shout out to the Mine feature. The Mine kills every feature I've heard him on, and this is no
I
exception.
agree.
All right,
Yes,
moving
yes.
on.
Don't sleep on the mind. Yeah.
Yeah, moving on to track 2, Broken
Broken
Girls.
Girls. Yeah. How you guys feel about Broken Girls? Flair, you could go first.
I'm gonna be long, so I'll go last.
Okay, I'll go first. All right. So pretty much, Broken Girls. I really like this song. This is probably one of my favorite songs on the album, just because like I could relate to. I don't think I could relate to it in a way that Flair can, but I could relate to it in a way that I like to I like to help people with their problems. You know what I mean? And like girls, you know what I mean? And like I don't know on this uh track if he talks about it's like denying his problems, but I often go with that. Like I try to help everybody else, but then forget about myself. It's kind of like
Mm,
you gotta worry about yourself too. You
right.
know? Yeah.
All
Broken
right.
I
girls.
agree 100% with you because it's it's really relatable in the same way to me that you try to help everybody, but then you have all these problems of your own. Uh,
Yeah. But
I'm
spec-
zoning out right now, so don't expect a lot from me right
now
now.
specifically on this track, he's talking about girls being broken,
Mhm.
Yeah, I
and
know,
he's
and I've
talking
done
about
my
like
fair share.
right here. It even says he's chasing girls for the wrong reasons. You
Right.
know, because they're broken. He's just attracted to that uncompleteness
Right.
and them probably either depending on him or not caring what's going on in their relationship, just there for the, you know what I'm saying, for the for like the more material side of things.
And that attaches to another track. I can't remember which one it was.
Calligraphy, most likely.
It was the one where he was talking about his girl and he cuts her off. Well, we'll get there eventually, but he
You
cuts her
like,
off
oh yeah,
and
yeah, yeah. Flair. I know you have a
So this track, when I first heard this track hit me in my soul because I caught myself looking. I'm like, yo, is he describing me right now? What's going on?
mhm.
So I was just like, yo, like, like what you call it. I don't think I'm in love with broken girls, but I found myself personally, I would categorize myself in a relationship with a broken
Yeah,
girl
yeah,
currently.
yeah.
So
Mhm.
so I was just like, oh damn, like this track describes my relationship perfectly. Like, so many, and he just gives me so many quotable lines that, like,
Yeah,
really had me looking at myself. I was just like, yo, my gosh,
yeah.
like this man really had to have gone through it
Dang,
already
I was
for
just
him
about to
to.
say that. You can tell that this is something that he knows how to talk about
Right.
because
Because
he's going deep into it.
right, right. He's definitely experienced it, and you can tell.
Yeah,
And what you call it, just like, some of the stuff that he's talking about, conversations about depression, confrontation, because we care too much about
about
each
each
other.
other. Yeah,
It ain't permanent but temporary. So, like, like and what's another song? What's another line that was a quotable that had me?
well, dice
Had
yo
me
hizo eso que
yeah,
colete like
no, no,
minutes.
yeah,
Yeah,
that was a dope line. What you call it? No, the line that
yeah.
really stuck me on the
What he said?
surface.
What he said? And I
Heartbreak.
know when I'm with you, or maybe when you're with me, if I don't feel a thing for a second, I feel complete.
Right.
That's that shit hit
That shit hit too. For
because
wait, wait, where
you
was
guys both broken.
yeah, and that's what I'm saying. And like that's a reason why a lot of people get with girls is that,
Yeah,
like, or a lot of girls get with guys
rather.
because, like, they feel hurt from a past relationship, and they're just like, yo, man, like, I need something to cuddle on for the night, or blah blah blah. And, like, I'm not gonna lie, like, when you just lying down in bed and you got a girl laying on your chest, bro, that
Yeah,
junk feel fire.
but,
Like, so, like, like, that's
mhm.
just what it is. And it's just like, like when you've been through that, like, no matter, that's why you deal with all the problems that she have. That's why you deal with all the bullshit that, like, having a girl may bring, just because, like, for that,
But,
like, to feel complete, to
yeah,
feel that feeling, you chasing it. And what you call it, and a line that stuck with me was in the second verse. He was just like, harboring feelings for niggas who hurt you. Know you want to surface,
yeah,
but not on a personal level.
yeah,
That line stuck with me because, like, like what you call it, like, I feel my girl does the same shit because, like, her ex hurt her, and then she like, like, she still be harboring feelings about him,
yeah.
and she don't even know it.
Like, yeah,
And, like, what you call it, and, like, also our conversations, like, like people be nowadays, people, not just her, but like people in general, avoid personal conversations. Like, people only talk about, like, the easy shit. Oh, what's on sports, or what that movie we watched was fire, or like, what you call
yeah,
it, what's on the TV show. Oh, you
yeah,
listen to that
yeah.
new Kodak song, or that Cardi B album, or whatever. But nobody ever talks about, like,
100%.
what's deep inside on a personal level. So
Yeah,
it's just like, know you on the surface, but not on a personal level. So he was just like,
mm,
that spoke to me. I was just like, yo, son, it really be like that, where people be really trying to hide their how they really feel, yet go into these relationships
yeah.
with girls and stuff
And
like that,
and
harboring
you're
all this
kind of like
past hurt and
using
stuff like that,
the
and not even
girl,
speaking about it.
you
Like,
guys are
how
using.
can you
It's
have
like an interdependentship
yeah,
of you guys using each other to
exactly,
escape.
exactly. And,
Yeah,
like, a relationship like that will never last because it's not based on love,
it's
it's
based
based on
on past
use.
experiences.
It's based on use, like, whatever,
Oh yeah,
whether since you're using each other, it's not based on, like, on whether you love the person or not,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
you want to be with it, is based off of like, you know, the benefit and the feeling they bring
yeah.
you, they give to
It's
you,
kind of
but
like
only for the
like
moment.
getting a gold chain.
Right. You
Like
know.
it just looks good to everybody else, but
Mhm.
you don't. You know what I'm saying?
And it might make you happy for like, you know, a little bit, but
Yeah,
then
yeah,
when you got to go through the problems of having that gold chain or having that Lamborghini, then you're just like, you know, might as well let me just sell it.
100%. Yeah,
So like, you know, that's why that thing, what you call it, that's why that thing, you know, this song spoke to me. And
yeah.
shout out to Saba too, because like, you know, this track sonically sounds very different from the first track,
Yeah.
because like the first track he's talking, he's talking, he's like half singing, half rapping.
Mhm.
And then this track, he
It's
goes
like
straight into a deep ass voice and it's just
yeah,
all rapping
yeah,
until he gets to the second verse, where then he goes switches from rapping all the way right back to straight singing,
yeah.
and then back to straight
And
rapping.
also, one thing about Saba that I like he does in his whole album is that he actually like his voice. He knows how to keep it interesting,
Right.
keep you engaged, and he knows where he loses.
Mhm.
Like he knows where he could lose you.
Right.
That's why he changes it up on the verse 2,
Right.
on the second, because on the first verse, you know what I'm saying? Like it is a
Mhm.
flow, and then the chorus is kind of the similar
Right.
voice and tone of the first, and then on the second verse, he goes into higher
And start
pitched
singing.
voice, right? Yeah,
And that caught me off guard. And I was just like, oh, okay.
yeah.
All right, I like this. And I was just
That
like,
showed
yeah,
that
bro.
he's versatile.
Facts.
Yeah. All right. Is there anybody got anything else to say about that track? No. All right. We moving on to the third track, Life. Mason, how you feel about this track?
It bangs.
You bangs, yeah. But
Bumps in the whip.
talk
I like
about
the
talk
barcode
about
line.
what's going on in the track.
I like the barcode line.
You said what?
You remember the barcode
Oh
line?
yeah, they want a barcode on my wrist. Yeah,
Hold on my
they want a
wrist.
barcode on my wrist.
That made me think of like a whole idea for a music video. But
To be honest, this whole track is interesting. This track is actually very deep. Like you could really, there's layers to this one.
Facts.
and
Like,
it's really
we could
good
spend a
whenever he
whole
like
hour on
goes
this
in.
alone. But let's try to do this in a timely manner. I would like to say
I just want to say though, I think he was bugging when he said I got angels running away. You know, I
yeah,
ain't never hear no angel run away. So I think you're bugging, Saba.
yeah.
But
He's just saying that he doesn't feel like God is helping him because of like what happened, cousin and everything.
but that's the
That's
best.
just him. That's just him
Right,
being in
right,
worse,
right,
him
right,
being
right,
sad,
right.
blaming
Wait,
everybody.
is he?
That comes with what I'm saying, with any type of trauma, denial. You know
Mhm.
what I mean?
I feel you.
And
I feel
blaming everybody. But Saba's religious though, so
yeah.
can't even.
Um, with that
But
line, is he
still though,
meaning
that's
like he means God's not helping him? Is that
right.
what he means? With the line?
Yeah,
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. And like, like no matter what you're going through, blah, 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 I'm still gonna say you're bugging. If you try to throw shots at God, I'm still gonna say you're bugging because you're bugging.
yeah, yeah.
So like, I'm
But
sorry, but
even,
like,
but even,
I gotta keep it 100.
but even on the fourth bar, he says, "I say, God, that's a woman. I know she would die for me."
Already.
So
Oh yeah. And I was gonna say even not in this song, in whatchamacallit, in the next song he even says, I'm not mad at God, I just can't get out of bed. So like I don't think he's really taking shots at
yeah,
God, but he's still kind of like,
yeah,
looking like man, like where my
yeah,
angels at?
yeah.
Like,
And
they
I
should be
feel
here
like
with me.
that's an interesting angle too, because like you feel and that really illustrates how you feel when you go through trauma.
Facts.
Like you feel like you don't blame yourself, but you do go through a point where you blame yourself, but you blame everybody else first.
Facts.
And then you blame yourself, and then you go through, you kind of accept it. But yeah, like that's interesting though. That's
Hmm.
interesting. But nah, let's go through the actual check. So yeah, they got a barcode on my wrist to auction off the kids. That's crazy though. Right there, they want a barcode off my wrist to
Is
auction
he
off the
saying
kid
that
a
as a racial thing?
description of a utopia.
Black.
Like a power won't exist if I just don't exist.
Right.
Isn't that crazy?
Is he
Yeah, man.
saying that as a race thing?
Yeah, that is
Yes.
Okay, I was just making
that
sure.
is a race thing.
But also, like, it's referring to the fact that many prisons use barcodes, whatchamacallit, on like on whatchamacallit, on
Yeah.
people's wrists, and it's also kind of like a whatchamacallit, like like a modern day
Yeah.
slavery.
And I
Like when you
also
think
feel
about
like
it, like
this
barcodes.
could also be related to gentrification as well.
Mm,
Just getting rid of the people, then
right,
it makes it a better place.
right, exactly.
So
Yeah, so
obviously that's not really how it is, but that's what I'm saying.
there's more stuff to this track. We don't have time to go into deep go into full depth of it, but the track bangs, and like it's a banger, but he's also talking about some deep stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's not just like it's
It's
not
not
just a
just a
banger like, oh,
banger.
I got a bankroll.
He's like
Right,
he talks about things from like his like material, like how how material objects translate to life. Like,
right,
he killed his cousin for a coat, you know what I'm
right.
saying? Like, imagine. But yeah, we're just gonna move on to the next track, Calligraphy.
We're only on track 4,
Yeah.
Hey
No, we
man,
almost done
we have
though.
a lot to say. Okay,
and I'm
that's
tired.
fine.
Okay.
Calligraphy, another banger. What this is one of my top 3 tracks. I would say my top 3 tracks are track 2, Broken Girls, track 4, Calligraphy, and then track 8, Gray. Those are my top 3. And yeah, man, I just love this song just because, like, this is exactly what I do. The
Yeah,
chorus is
I agree.
write it away.
Yeah.
I get tired of running away. Everyone's leaving my write them away.
Yeah.
Calligraphy. And I was I was actually explaining this. I showed this track to my girl, and I got it stuck in her head. But yeah, man, this track is just like is just like so real in the fact that, like, everybody goes through something, and then everyone has different coping
Yeah.
methods. We
As
rappers,
artists, yeah.
since we're all rappers in the paper squad, we're
Yeah.
all artists. Like, we use our coping method of
Yeah.
putting
Rather
it
it be
on wax or
beats,
putting it on paper.
lyrics, like
So
songs, like
right.
anything.
Right. We're using this as an expressive way to we're using this as a way to express ourselves and like how we truly feel. And and Saba's showing that, like, like, yeah, he's just like us. He does it the exact same way. And he writes it away, calligraphy. And if you peep it, calligraphy is not just the act of writing, but it's the art of
Yeah.
writing well.
Yeah.
So,
It's the art
you
of
know,
writing, rather.
yeah, it's the art of writing. But, like, like when people say calligraphy, they mean you have, like, you wrote it well, like it's not your writing has transcend just utility and into art.
Yeah.
There's something to distinguish it from any other
Yeah.
character. But, like, the thing about it is that it's like calligraphy takes
Mhm.
practice. So when he was just like, I write him away, calligraphy, like, that
Mhm.
shows that, like, he's been writing so much that, like, like, his words are turning into art.
Mhm.
So, like, it's showing that, like, how much he's truly writing. It's not like he's just writing, like, one page or something away. No, he's writing, like, like, pages and pages and pages and pages, and putting in that 10,000 hours and is
Yeah.
mastering
Hell
it
yeah.
to
And
make
even
calligraphy.
on the, like, for another point, like on the first 2 tracks, like he's saying, I don't tell the truth so y'all will feel sorry for me. I don't write this shit
I
so
got
y'all
you.
will
I
feel
got
God coming. He's saying that he doesn't care
100%.
if people get his message.
Right.
He's just saying that this is his therapy.
Right.
Because and by him writing like this, also in the chorus, it kind of shows like it could have a negative effect
Mhm.
because he's saying everyone leaving, I write them.
Right.
So he's just using it. It's like kind of like how you addicted to drugs. You're using it to escape, but you're not actually facing the problems head on.
Mhm.
Rather, you know what I mean? You're
Right.
just kind of just like putting it off, like temporarily,
Right.
like when like there's a spill. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just cleaning it up, you let it. You know what I'm saying? Like dissolve into the
Mhm.
floor and get sticky.
Right.
You know what I
But
mean?
like, he says he's tired of running away. So, like, he's approaching it head on. He's just doing it in a different way. He's doing it
Yeah,
through music.
yeah,
He's approaching a problem head on. But, like, he's not. It shows that he like he has his demons and he's wrestling with
I
them.
got
But he's
you.
not. But he's not what you call it. He's not forgetting them. He's not throwing them to the side. He's not burying them deeper in his heart. Letting them take hold and
Yeah,
take root and become something even worse. He's trying to deal with them head on
hell
as they
yeah,
come.
yeah.
So,
With
but
this dude Mason left, imagine.
yeah, man, it happens though. It happens.
Yeah, no, it's fine. We having a conversation. That's good.
Facts, facts,
Yeah.
facts. So
Yeah.
yeah, so like so like yeah, Saba's right out here really just like basically like opening his heart for all of us listeners to see, you know, especially like with broken girls going into life, going into
Mhm.
calligraphy, like like this is like all the things that's weighing
And
on his
he's writing
brain,
it
but
away.
more importantly, yeah, weighing on his heart, and he's just writing it away, but like he's releasing it to us to see,
Yeah.
like we actually get to see, like to experience
Yeah.
it with him.
Yeah.
And he's such a good writer, he can actually bring us
So
into
like,
the
yeah,
which translates great into the next track, Fighter.
fighter. Hell yeah.
So
So fighter. This is a storytelling track.
mhm,
Straight storytelling. Like all the other tracks, obviously storytelling, but in a different way. This is like a chronological, you know,
right.
linear
If
story.
yeah, if I would compare this would be like a how much of a dollar cost
Yeah,
type
kind
of
of. I guess.
storytelling.
Yeah, I agree.
So
Or kind of like they'll sing about me. I'm dying of thirst or something like that.
right.
Yeah.
But yes, basically a direct story, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
You
Um.
you can start.
How you feel? About this, like this track is kind of like it is what it is.
Mhm.
This is probably one of the weaker tracks, but his storytelling is just so impactful.
Right.
Like, if you were reading this, like it's still good.
Mhm.
Like he said, like he like even on the third verse, this shit is hard. This shit is very like hard. He
Oh,
said,
I love
but these folks don't care to know. They think you're rolling in the dough, not realizing your next bit 4 for 4.
mhm.
Like, people don't know you. Everybody act like they know the story, like they know
Right.
what's going on in your life. But number one, they don't care to ask, and number two, they don't know. Like they just don't know.
Right.
You never know what people going through.
Right.
That's why it's good to have conversations, and you know what I mean.
Facts. And also like, like it's people think just because like, like you've gotten a little bit of success, like, like you're off driving Lambos for the rest of your
Yeah,
life,
that's yeah.
blah
You still
blah blah.
gotta pay
You know,
taxes.
right. You still gotta pay taxes, number one, but even then, like you still gotta grind, you always gotta work.
Yeah,
Right.
because just one thing, just one leak, one this, one that, could just ruin your career, literally.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but yeah, man, this shit is this thing is really impactful. It's talking about pretty much just talking about a story of him fighting in the neighborhood and how like how everybody like how his family and his cousin and his friends they used to fight but they used to help him out and him learning how to fight but he's not trying to fight physically like
Right.
he's not trying to fight like he doesn't need that pretty much. But yeah. And also he kind of like look on the outro. He's saying we don't got kicked out the hotel. We all broke. We don't got no mattress. Sleep on your floor. Me and my grandpa is supposed since I dropped out. Make sure on my first door stop at his house. I sleep on the hotel, not your floor. He tell me that he proud of his boy. I'm not a janitor in the square. So
I'm
he's
not a
like,
janitor no more at home and square.
yeah. So he's just like, you know, he's just saying like and that goes back to the 4 for 4 line.
Right.
Like like you're still struggling, and you gotta
Yeah.
just and it even goes back to calligraphy, just write it away, maybe, you know what I'm saying? Like find something to get
Facts.
through those times because you can't sit there, like
Right.
you can't let your problems overcome you. That's not the way to live. It's really not.
And I just want to say, like whatchamacallit, like even though whatchamacallit, like throughout this track is called Fighter, and throughout this whole track he talks about the different fights he's going through.
Yeah,
The first verse he's talking about an actual physical
yeah,
fight of him in his childhood.
indeed.
The second verse he talks about an emotional fight he has with his girl. That also hit me because like I was talking earlier in my review, me and my girl we talk a lot about like shit
Yeah,
like this. So that hit me, especially like some of the things that he was saying. He was like, you don't value my thoughts, either that or you're too damn stupid to realize if you don't hear me out then
yeah,
I'ma feel muted. Like that hit me. I was just like, oh shit, that's a bar.
yeah, yeah, hell
and
yeah.
then it's and then especially the bar that I took away is the last how you ended it. And I know you think you're listening but you're just waiting to talk.
Yeah,
because like nowadays when people nowadays, especially in like debates or anything like that, but like even just trying to show somebody your point of view, people
They don't
don't
listen.
listen. People just
They want to
feel
get their
people
point
feel like
across, but they don't
right.
want to listen.
And also like sometimes like if someone holds a wrong point of view or a point of view that you think like there's evidence that proves contrary,
Yeah,
whenever you try to bring it up to them, they feel like
yeah,
you're attacking them
yeah,
personally because you don't agree with their point of view.
yeah, yeah,
Like so then people like normally shut down and just don't listen to what you want to say and just be like no 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 no, because they feel like you're attacking their person, even though you're just saying nah, you're still a human being, you're just wrong.
yeah.
No one wants to be wrong, so
Yeah.
like and everyone likes to talk and no one likes to listen.
Yeah,
So I was just like yo, Saba's talking about physical fighting, then he's talking about emotional fighting, then he's talking about like emotional fighting with other people,
and,
to emotional fighting
with-
with himself about getting out of bed and the guilt.
yeah.
So like
I,
he
I also
encompasses everything.
like how number one, like Saba is a voice.
Yes.
This is stuff that the youth can relate to.
Mm-hmm.
Like anybody who's young, like you can really like relate to this shit. And I like how he's actually in tune, and he's in tune.
Right.
Like you just know, because like what he's talking about, like you can feel that.
Right.
You can definitely be like, I seen that happen, or I know that happened.
Mm-hmm.
Cause like if you hear other artists, I'm not gonna say no names, but if you hear other artists, you like you hear them say something, and you're like, that could probably happen, but you don't actually know. You know what I mean? Not because you're not in tune, because the person they just like they're just probably just saying anything, what they think.
Boy, that was a shot. That wasn't even a shot and a half. That was like 3 shots, boy. And that joint on burst fire.
That ass. We
All
better
right.
move on to the next track. Smile. I love this track.
Yeah.
I love this track. Like,
This track remind me very much of No Name,
yeah,
of like the early telephone track
like
tape.
Diddy Bop and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, Saba doing it in his own way.
Chicago, 2-flat apartment, red brick and garden, that's been forgotten. Yeah.
Yeah, remember, like that Diddy Bop. Ooh, you about to get your ass beat. I love that line.
Yeah.
Cause like just right there, like if you was a kid, bro, and you saw somebody else mess up, that's what you was doing. You're just like, oh, you about to get your ass beat, boy. Like you be the first one to want to see that, because that joke be so entertaining.
For stealing that $20, like that ass.
Facts. So like this track brought me back to the No Name track, which brought me back to my childhood. So I was just like, yeah, man. And just the hook.
And even like the whole, he is talking about his childhood.
True, yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
And just the hook is just smile. Like you can't hate on the track.
Yeah.
Can't hate on that track. Smile.
Yeah, positivity, yeah.
Facts.
And like I like how Saba he always like tries to like make sure that that he went through grief, and like he blamed everybody, but he also knew how to take accountability,
right,
for like the way that he you know what I'm saying, like the way that he maneuvered around.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
This track is a great track. Do you have anything to say? We can just move on to the next track.
Nah, we can move on.
All right, next track is Log Out. All right, this is a good track. All right, you already know what I really do not like that Chance the Rapper. That's a very weak.
Tell the people why.
This is a weak feature. This dude came on with a voice. Like this dude went up to the mic. His mouth was on the mic, and he was just saying. He just spit the bars, and there's like literally like he just reading it off of a page, like it's a play or something. Like I don't know like why he did not put his best foot forward. And this is his boy. Like he could have just came on the hook with some additional vocals. That would have made the track way better. If you press like that, you get from imagine yeah.
That would have been fired, low key.
Like some quiet shit. He likes to, like waves or like ultralight beam type stuff.
Right. That would have been fire.
Yeah.
I would love that.
But now he came on there with a lackluster verse, low energy, messes up the whole flow of the track. They even put a whole section in the beat for Chance. And
Right.
he fucked it up. But
Mm.
now the rest of the track is great. He's
Right.
talking pretty much. They're both talking about how people get too caught up in social media,
hmm
and they not and even though it goes back to the 444 line. Like their life is like not the best, but they use that is their escape. The social media is that escape, and they seeing everybody else doing the grandest things, and it just even makes you feel more bad
Right, right,
about
right,
yourself.
right, 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 right. Yeah, man. And I love this track just because, like, like I'm not on social media
Yeah,
at all.
yeah,
Like I just had to create an Instagram just specifically for my music.
yeah,
And like I hate when like when like people tag me into the social media thing, because I'm just like, yo, you don't really
yeah.
care about me.
You're right.
Because like if you cared about me, you'd call me, you'd send me a text, we'd have a conversation, you'd bring up something interesting, you try to teach me something, etc., etc. But instead, like I feel like in the social media days, like people just either stun on you, be like, oh yeah, I just did this, look at how
Yeah,
great I
yeah,
am, or I
yeah,
just
yeah,
bought this, look at how great
yeah.
I am, blah blah blah, or and stuff like that. And there's no there's no
And
there's no
there's no
actual
point
personal
to that. There's
connection
literally
you
nothing.
you
You
get.
don't gain. You gain.
There's no point.
Oh, likes.
Right,
After that, you're just constantly re-upping on posting more shit,
right.
and you know what I mean, and searching for those likes still.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, but yeah, I just one quick thing to talk about this track. In the hook, what Saba does sonically was as he's spitting his verses, like when he's ending a bar, he like cuts it out kind of like a static, or like almost like robot affects his voice, but he does it in a very tasteful
Are you
way.
talking about like the
And
R,
it's
like the
considering,
R part, or
yeah,
like
R follow where's,
yeah,
what you call it.
as the aesthetic of like being online.
Exactly. So
And
I
that's
thought that was that I thought I was it was those little touches, like
see, that's
that
the
he
type of
does.
depth that I want from artists.
Exactly. That shows that, like like this track went through post production, but
That
also like he thought
he
about
thought
it. He
about
thought about it.
he actually thought about that being a
Right.
cool thing that would added to the track.
Yes.
Like
So
if that wasn't there, it wouldn't be this. I wouldn't even
yeah,
like the track as much. That really like when I heard that come on, I was like,
yeah,
ooh, like that just like the way that it goes on each snare, like
right. R. That's what
That's
I'm
like
saying.
that's powerful. That adds to the hook a lot. But that's
Right.
pretty.
And it shows, and like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it shows an attention to detail. And I just wanted to point that out because I didn't miss it.
Yeah.
So,
Some
and
people said that this song reminds them of Nights.
nights.
Frank Ocean, the second half. It
Oh,
does. It does. Hey.
yes. Yes.
Oh God, I said, yeah, that shit do.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
It do.
Yes, it does. And it's funny. I didn't even peep that, but Nights is whatchamacallit, is my favorite track off of that album.
Yeah,
But
actually, but Pink Plus White is probably one of my. Yeah, probably
I
my
hate
favorite.
that song. I hate that track. But that's a
What?
different.
Okay,
That's
now
a
we're not
different album.
doing this. We're not doing this.
All right, Gray.
Yeah,
Speaking of
great.
tracks that I love, this is like I said, my top three. If I would say this is probably my favorite track off of the album, just because like this is, as an artist, this is how I feel to the T. Like, like the best songs are probably on the B side. The
Yeah.
best songs probably on the demo, but that's not the one that got you your limo. So like, like
Great.
he's saying like, life is so great just because like, everyone is trying to like, go for a mainstream sound
Yeah,
and diluting their message
yeah,
because like, it's gonna make them money, or
yeah,
it's gonna appeal to most of
yeah.
their followers that he was talking
But
on the
but but,
previous
but the
track.
tracks that you and off of the tracks that blow up are the tracks that you don't even like.
Right. Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. And then he's saying the deeper tracks, they're not front and center on that album. They're usually buried if they even make it on at all. And like, and it's crazy because like, going back to that line that I love in Broken Girls, everything's on the surface, but not on a personal
Hell
level.
yeah,
And that's what this track Gray is all about,
yeah.
just talking about, how music nowadays is just on the surface
Mm-hmm.
and not on a personal level. And he does a great thing where he's like, well, if everything's so bad, why do people sign these deals and make this bad music. And then he says it in one simple line: consider want to be Walker and Walker want to be Driver. So like everyone sees like the next step up, the better thing in life, and it's like, oh, I want that. Like you see on the rap, you see on the rap music videos growing up. You see them with all the bad girls having all the money, driving on the fast cars, and you're like, I want that. And no one's ever satisfied, with the position that they got, even though that they could be in a worse position. Like Sitter could be dead. Facts.
You always want to be on top,
right?
Predator. And as soon as you see somebody, that goes back to logout. As soon as you see somebody doing worse than you, constantly top that,
right?
With your own, you know what I mean.
And I just like and I like how whatchamacallit, the beat, especially on the outro. I just want to mention this, especially on the outro, how he does a spoken word poem over a jazz instrumental where he's very raw with it. Like you can hear the emotion coming out in his voice, and you can hear that it's basically just him just trying to get it all out onto the mic, like we mentioned in calligraphy, he's just trying to get it all away, write it all away. And then like he's not holding anything back, and like post production, he's not trying to make it sound good or anything like that.
I was also gonna say, even before you brought it up, I was gonna say he's a pretty poetic artist too, because he's like consider want to be Walker and Walker want to be Driver.
Yeah,
like that's crazy. Like it's not a hard thing. It's not a hard thing to say, right?
It's not a hard thing to say, but it's simple but powerful.
Yeah. All right, I think that's about it, right, for that track.
Right.
Yeah, good track.
Great track. Yeah, and then it segues from that track. It goes to Prom King.
Yeah.
You want to take the show?
Nah, you could go first, actually.
Oh, all right. Okay, so Prom King. This is like the climax of the album, in my opinion.
It is. Hell yeah.
It's the longest song on the album at like 7.5 minutes.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, 7.5 minutes. So and it's just basically his detailing, very intimately detailing like his relationship with his cousin, about how his cousin got him a prom date, and altercations that happened into his life and stuff like that. And then he very vividly paints entire scenes and goes with it, basically showing us, weaving us in and out moments of his life, as he finds out his cousin, reconnects with his cousin, and then become real close, become homies, and then become like brothers. And then all the way up until his cousin's eventual death. So
that hurts, man.
Yeah.
Like it's powerful. It's a powerful track.
It's crazy, man.
It's the way that the beat intensifies.
Right.
Like this is crazy.
And just like how he makes you feel every moment.
Yeah.
When it's on the
in the second verse of the second part where he's talking about he was working on Bucket List.
Right.
I highly suggest that album, by the way. He was working on Bucket List, and then next thing you know, this dude, he gets a call of Walter dead. Yeah, well, not dead, but somebody tried to kill him.
Right. And he's just like, yo, what?
Yeah, and he gets,
and then that slows down everything. And it's crazy to think that this dude had not just one attempt on his life, man. Like they tried to kill this man multiple times till they finally did. And it's crazy, like this track made me emotional, just at how vividly the scene Saba paints it here. Like in my head, I made my own visions of my young Saba looks, how young Walter looks, how young Jada looks. She's also a character in this thing. She was this prom date, and just in my head, I can picture the scenes and stuff like that, and I can just see it in my head. I can see downtown Chicago, all that stuff inside my head, just at how vivid of a picture he paints. So bravo to Saba on this track. This is a 7.5 minute track, and he kept me interested. I cannot say the same about many other rappers.
Yeah.
I don't want to send shots, but I'm sending shots to somebody. I
Yeah,
think you know who.
I maybe.
We talked about it in the past, but it's been a minute. But
Ah, oh yes, I know exactly. Who
um,
Logic, but
yeah,
yeah, at the outro, at the outro where he says just another day in the ghetto.
right,
but that's Walter.
right.
That's actually Walter saying that.
Hmm.
Like you know how like that's powerful, man.
Right, just even though he died, like
Like he
it's just
knew.
another day. Like the fact,
That's,
and
that's
that also drives home the point that like like he could be anybody, he could be you, he
yeah,
could be me,
yeah.
and because it's just another day and people die every day. Look on the news and you see it.
And that's so that hits hard because I know how that is. Like I know how that is.
Facts.
I'm pretty sure we all know people who died, who all got shot. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
And like that's because like anything happens, like you can't stop anything from going on. Like
right,
you don't know who you like make mad in the streets.
hmm,
You know what I mean?
right.
But I think that's all we have to say on that track. Brilliant track, man.
Facts, facts,
Probably like
facts.
probably like one of the best tracks on the album. But the whole album is good.
Right, yeah, that like I said, it's definitely a highlight moment on the album.
Yeah, definitely.
And then last track,
Heaven all around me.
Heaven All Around Me. Also a highlight moment for me, just because
Yeah.
I like being my so-called pastor's son,
Yeah, yeah,
but I like talk about God a lot in my music and
yeah.
stuff like that. So seeing Saba have a track about heaven, I was just like, oh, I'm all
Yeah.
for it.
Cause I think he used to be he used to play piano for like the choir or something like that.
Hmm.
Cause like his dad used to do some stuff. But yeah, this track it really uplifts you after this.
Hmm. And it's so crazy because the track is about is the perspective of someone dying,
Hmm.
and
Yeah,
as it goes, and they're seeing like what's happening to their body,
yeah.
like
They're
you
seeing
know
lights. They're
you
seeing
know
them dead.
right, they're seeing their body go to the ambulance,
They're seeing
they're
them
seeing like
outside themselves.
right, like they're seeing like how the police recover the scene, they're seeing how the news people do interviews with the
Yeah,
family talking about like what happened, etc. But what you call it, but talking about how like how they're trying to talk to people and they can't
yeah,
talk because like nobody can hear them because they're
yeah,
ghosts. But but it's still saying the hook, there's heaven all around me, saying like no matter what happens, I'm still here, and where it's here I'm in heaven, and heaven's right here because I'm here with you guys all. So that's kind of like saying like God, there's heaven all around me, that's God is here with all of us.
yeah.
So I was just like, yo,
Now this track probably like tied the whole thing together.
facts.
Like the whole album, this is not actually like a happy album. Like this is actually
No,
some heavy
no,
stuff.
no, it's not a happy
Like
album.
this is like an introspective, really like he's writing it. This is writing. He's writing this whole
Mhm.
album is just him writing it.
Right. Calligraphy.
Like that shit is hard because I know he felt his fault.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know he felt that way, and you could tell. Like that's why he wrote it the way that he did. So about how he was in the studio with legit. I know exactly what track that was too. And he gets
Facts.
the call. Like imagine getting a call
Mm-hmm.
like that. Like
Right. That's your best friend. Someone you probably consider a blood brother just
yeah,
died. Like,
exactly.
you can't take that away, and that's why he had to immortalize him
Yeah,
on this album,
yeah.
but also immortalize the moments that he's had
With
with
it,
him.
like
That's
her prom and like fighter, like the
right.
whole like,
Immortalize all the moments all the times that they spent together.
yeah.
And yeah, man,
Because he cares. Like
exactly. And this is something that like I don't think he'll ever get over, but he'll just learn to live with.
yeah,
You know, because like he even says a line on what you call it on the thing. My best friend obituary really hang on the wall right by the dresser. I
yeah,
forgot
bro.
what song he says that on.
Yeah. I know. I don't know a song, but I do remember him saying that.
Right.
Yeah, man.
I think that's on Calligraphy.
Is it? I can check. But is there anything
Yes,
you
it's on
want?
Calligraphy. No, that's all I want to say. I just want to say closing out. Like, he tied everything together
Yeah.
with this last song. Like, like I said, he talks about the person dying in the first song and busy. In the first song, busy, and then throughout the album, you kind of see like the moments moments of like how he's broken, how that person dying, how his best friend dying
Yeah.
made him broken, and then seeing moments of him and his best friend, like
Mhm.
moments of their life, and then all to the point of his death, and then it
Yeah.
loops back.
But I'll just say to wrap this up, this is this album just says like a lot of what I would like to say myself.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's
So
like
now we've had extensive time with this album. For me, I've had this album for like over 2 weeks. But I've had it on constant replay, so I've listened into it for over like 30 times. So like I consider that's enough. That's enough for me to review it. And I know Willie Manic has listened to this album probably way
yeah,
more times than that. So what would you rate it?
a 9.
Mm.
Actually, this is a 10 out of 10.
Honestly, I'd give it a 10 out of 10 because there's no bad song in it. And I just want to say it reminds you if you like this album, go check out Telephone by No Name, because I feel like that's also a very similar album. And the only difference is that with Telephone, you might come out of Telephone thinking, oh, Telephone is kind of an upbeat album, until you really explore the themes about it. And then you realize that, No Name is also talking about some heavy stuff on Telephone too. And it's crazy because they're both from Chicago. So, the Chicago people out here are killing the scene. Not even to mention Mick Jenkins, who's killing the scene too. So, shout out to all them Chicago rappers. We see y'all. Y'all doing your thing, and we respect it for it. We here for the good music, and y'all keep providing. That's all I want to say. Anything you want to say with your closing
No, that's it.
remarks? All right. This has been the Paper Squad Reviews with me and Willie Manic. We'll catch y'all next time. Deuces.